The Joy Perspective, the podcast where I share life's challenges, things I've learned through years of personal development, and help others shift their perspective and find their joy. I'm Lauren Valdez, and together we'll dive into how changing the way we think can unlock possibilities, spark creativity, and transform the everyday. Let's dive in. Welcome to today's episode of The Joy Perspective. Today we are talking about joy that survives the storm. I feel this really deeply this last week. I've had some conversations with some friends that are experiencing some heavy pressures of life, and they're feeling bore down, and they're feeling like they're drowning in the pressure. And today I want to talk about how we can still find the light and the joy even in those storms, even when it feels like we're drowning from the pressure. And I want to give you guys real, tangible, actionable things that you can do today to help you do this. Now, I've shared with many of my students in the past, one of my favorite things to do with my kiddos is to share with them the story of my life and some of the things that I've overcome and some of the things that I've done. And I typically would wait till the end of the year to share with them because I needed to know that I could trust them, but I also needed them to know who I was. Because when you hear some of the heartache or abuse or constantly moving and changing schools and having to make new friends, or losing my brother when I was 13, or having two alcoholic parents and the chaos that we went through, and then you saw who I had become on the other end, it showed them that even in the ugly, even in the messy, even in the obstacles of life, good things can come from it. And so the other day I found myself in my car crying, and then 5 minutes later laughing. And it reminded me that healing doesn't have to be a straight line. Healing from past traumas, or even just healing from the obstacles of life, it's not a straight line. It's messy. And it's like a messy dance between breaking down and blooming from it. And I know there's a lot of focus on healing generational trauma. But how do you do that? It's not something that happens overnight. It's something that you do through therapy with professionals, but also in your everyday life. And that everyday life is something that I want to talk about, specifically resilience. Many people confuse resilience with toughness or emotional numbness. You guys, I'm guilty of this. I did this. I thought if I was emotionally numb, or even better, putting myself out there, guys, deceitful, right? When we had CPS called on us as kids, people were shocked because I showed up every day at school and I put this big, beautiful smile on my face and I exuberated so much joy and happiness, and I hid from it all. I didn't want people to know what I was going through. I didn't want to experience it or feel it. And I allowed myself to start to get emotionally numb. Now, thankfully, I went through some therapy and learned how to fix that. But what resilience is, it's not pretending that it doesn't hurt. It's actually feeling those feelings and choosing to stay open anyways. Allowing yourself to continue to feel, not making yourself numb, not hiding it from the world, but it's actually feeling through it. Open yourself up. And how do we do that? Well, let me ask you, where in your life have you gotten through something once and thought, I didn't think I was going to get through that? What helped you keep going? What helped you get through that? And sometimes, it's a friend, it's speaking to a professional, it's, a relationship. There's a lot of things that can help us get through it. But one thing I want to talk about right now is our own individual selves. Because there's a lot of work that happens between each therapy session. There's a lot of work that happens between the next time you get with your best friend and they give you that pep talk that fuels you and gets you through the next couple days. What work happens? What can you do? I'm going to give you 2 to 3 different things that you can use. And I know I've talked about one of these for sure before, and that is micro joys. Focusing on micro joys. Now, these are small moments of joy or delight. This is the sunlight on your skin and opening up your windows in the morning and taking a moment to appreciate and enjoy them. It's music. It's listening to your favorite song and allowing yourself to experience the joy in those moments. For me, it's often a warm cup of coffee and listening to the kiddos giggle and laugh. Allowing yourself to slow down enough to enjoy those micro joys is going to help you get through the hard times and get through those hard times with light, with joy, with happiness. Because I can tell you in some of the conversations that I've had with some friends this last week, my heart aches for them because they're dealing with some very heavy things. But what I'm also hearing from them is what I've done to myself, where I feel like everything is compounding. You know, they say when it rains, it pours. But what we're telling ourselves in those moments is that it's just pressuring on and it's piling on and it's piling on. And what you're actually doing is focusing on the negativity instead of focusing on those micro joys, focusing on the delight that surrounds us. That's hard. That's really, really, really hard. So how do you even do that? A lot of the time, finding those micro joys can actually be something that we can outsource. You know, it's hard. It's hard to get vulnerable, especially when you've been hurt before. But to call up a friend and to be honest, if you really want to find the joy in life, sometimes it is calling that friend and saying, hey, I'm struggling with the pressures of this right now. Can you help me find the micro joys in my life? Can you help me find those moments of joy? We feel like we have to do it all by ourselves, right? But if we look inside ourselves in those in-between moments, right? And we realize, no, I need the help. I need someone else to help me see it. That's huge. And maybe you don't need someone else. Maybe it's as simple as starting your day with 3 things you're grateful for, or 3 joys that you found in the day before. Maybe it's ending your day with focusing on 3 joys from the day, 3 things that you saw, and creating that habit to where you can identify those. The next one I want to talk about is self-compassion rituals or self-compassion habits. Now, talking to yourself like you were a friend. I'm not kidding you. I am actually thinking about setting an alarm in my phone every day. I'm going to kind of look at my work calendar and see what could be a consistent time, Monday through Sunday, where my alarm goes off and just says, speak to yourself like you're a friend. Because I have moments where I feel like I'm not good enough, or I'm not doing enough, or I'm whatever. We all do. But it's how quickly we turn those around that allow us to keep seeing the joy in life. So if I had a quick alarm, let's say 12:30, go off every day, that said, speak to you like you would a friend. I'll give you an example. Yesterday morning, I got up early. I told myself I was going to get ahead in work and accomplish X, Y, and Z. And then my sweet little boy woke up. And he comes down and he's trying to convince me that he should be able to go play some video games. Now, we have a rule in our house. We don't let video games Monday through Thursday. So it's only Friday through Sunday, and it can't be before noon. He knows that rule. So he's in here trying to schmooze his way to get to noon. And I'm like, hey, buddy, did you try that? Did you practice that math performance task you've been telling me you need to practice each day? And he's like, oh, I didn't do it yet. I said, okay, let's go do it. So what I did was I actually took it and I put it into Chat GPT and I created multiple versions of it so that he could practice that. I promise there's a reason I'm telling you this whole story. After that, he asked me something else and asked me, when's my soccer game next week? So what did I do? I pulled up his soccer schedule and I got out a notebook and I actually started writing them all out. When does my daughter have it? When does my son have it? And there's another team that I'm helping get ref points and support them in. So I wrote them all out. Wanted to see which weekends had overlap, which weekends I could help ref, which weekends I couldn't. And so I got to sit down and do that with him. And after that, I walked out into the kitchen and my daughter, she's adorable. She loves to scare us. She pops out from behind the couch and now she's awake. And so I get her started with doing some of her math work because what's fair is fair, right? And soon enough, I realized it's time to go get dressed and to head off to my reffing. And in my head, you guys, I started telling myself, wow, you couldn't even get one thing of work done. You couldn't even do this. You couldn't even do that. And I caught myself because self-talk and self-compassion is so important. I paused for a moment and I literally thought to myself, is this what I would have told a friend? No. How valuable was that time that I got to create these math performance tasks that my son clearly cares about since he's the one reminding me when he came home from school the other day, right? Oh, mom, I got to make sure I'm practicing these. And so I was able to, it was really cool. We got to actually explore on ChatGPT together and play together. And I'm like, how cool is that? We got to I even gave him my phone and I let him look up black holes and whatever else he wanted to. What a cool learning moment. I got to also do that with my daughter and have that time with her. Then both of them are on my phone looking up all kinds of crazy science things. But for a moment there, I had to remind myself I deserved the same love and respect that I would give a friend, but wasn't giving myself. Self-talk and self-compassion. Make it a habit. Put it in your phone as a daily reminder. Who cares if a coworker sees it pop up on your phone? Or maybe you just even put talk like a friend. Something as so simple to remind your brain to take that moment and give yourself the same love and compassion you would a friend. When we're healing, when we're going through the storms, when we're feeling the pressure, it's not easy to do that. So be intentional. Put it in your phone. Take the time to pour into you just like you would a friend. And the last one, I want to talk about movement, moving our body, walking, dancing, breathing exercises, whatever it is. Moving our body actually allows our physical body to release some of that pressure. If you've done mindfulness, you know how important breathing can be and actually intentionally releasing the pressure in our shoulders, allowing our body to relax. Or dancing, how much joy! I love dancing. My daughter loves dancing. My son loves dancing. It's the best. How much joy can that movement bring you? So much. So let's do it. Joy isn't deniable. It's remembering that even in the middle of our pain, our life, our pressure, all of it, life is still offering you little pieces of beauty and joy all around you. And whether you find that in your micro joys, whether you find that in your self-compassion and self-talk, whether you find that in meaningful movement, dancing, walking, breathing, these are 3 things you can do to continue to allow yourself to find the joy. Science says that joy heals the body. I say joy also helps us remember who we are inside. We're whole, we're worthy, we're still capable of light even in the pressure. On Tuesday, during our prayer group, we talked about the pressures of our job. We talked about the pressures all around us. And the reality is, God's given us so much hope and so much joy in this life. And sometimes we allow ourselves to be drowned in the pressure. And we don't have to. We do not have to. I want you to think about these two things. What's one small joy that you can give yourself permission to notice today? Where can you give yourself permission to be both happy and healing, or happy and persevering in the storm? I saw somebody post their little highlight or whatever caption it's called on Facebook, and they said, "It's cool to be healthy." And I want to switch that. It's cool to find the joy. It's cool to be happy. Don't be like others around us who are so fueled by complaining or so fueled by finding how hard life can be. You have a choice. You can find how hard life is, or you can find the joy in every single day. Thank you for joining me today on The Joy Perspective. I hope this episode helped you shift your mindset and find a little bit more joy in your life. If you enjoyed today's episode, be sure to subscribe so you never miss one. And don't forget to follow me on Instagram at @Lauren_Valdez for more inspiration and updates. I'd love to hear your thoughts and connect with you. Until next time, keep shifting your perspective and finding your joy.